Hopefully it is. I'm hoping. One can hope, right? Dude, there's so many side missions. Oh my god. No treasure hunts. I'm hoping for some treasure hunts. Some treasure hunts would be cool. Now I need to go to a signpost. Actually, I can just run there.
Witcher act always with reason.
Come on, Roach.
This game is beautiful. I'd say this and Uncharted 4 are the best looking games on consoles right now.
Not so fast, Roach. That's it, Roach.
So I have this whole place to myself? Oh, no I don't. Not to myself.
Trading in wine while some witcher guards the common folk.
Whoa, dude, you got a problem? Say it to my face.
Welcome home, sir. I am Barnabas Basil Fawlty. By order of the Duchess, I shall serve you as Major Domo of Corvo Bianco. I previously served with distinction at the Nibley family manor and in Nazaire with Admiral Rompali, who, as you are certain to know, is an extraordinary, demanding gentleman.
Whoa, Barnabas Basil. One thing you ought to know. I'm not your typical landed gentleman. Truth be told, this is the first real property I've ever owned.
Oh, in that case, you must leave it all to me. I shall organize, see to everything, and whip the house into order. I dare say this place will soon be the most prosperous vineyard around.
Great. Can already see I'm in good hands. Vineyard comes across as a place with a rich history. Know who owned it before me?
Baron Rossel, who went bankrupt, forcing him to sell the estate to the Duchess. The Baron, in turn, had purchased it from Monsieur Bolius of the Headsman, a truly colorful man of Ketweni origin.
He was actually a headsman?
No, not him, but his great-great-great-great-grandfather. Indeed. Apparently, he was a common cutpurse who somehow secured for himself the post of ducal headsman in Beauclair. Went about his work with an exceptional penchant. They say he chopped off more heads than there are grapevines in the ducal vineyards. He never hesitated, not once. Never sliced unevenly, never botched a job. For his exemplary service, the Duke granted him a title and this estate. Monsieur Bolius, on the other hand, was an engineer in his younger years. Once retired, he settled here and took to producing wine. Sadly, misfortune struck and he lost his sense first of smell, then of taste. Additionally, he could not drink alcohol. His medic forbade it.
Shame that. He gave up making wine?
Not at all. He made even more of it. Began throwing wild balls to which he'd invite friends from far and wide in order to treat them to his wine and delight in the fact that at least someone could enjoy it. It's the sort of man he was, Monsieur Bolius.
Mind giving me a little tour de Corvo Bianco?
Not in the least. Follow me, please. I think it would be practical to begin on the hill.
Woohoo!
Behold, sir, your estate in all its splendor.
Dope.
Pretty vast.
Indeed. And now, sir, allow me to show you a handful of interesting details. Follow me, please.
Been a major domo all your life?
Yes, I come from a long line of major domos. My father was a major domo, as was my grandfather before him, as was my great-aunt. In fact, she was the one to start the tradition.
Great-aunt?
A hard woman. It is said that already as a child, she knew where she was going and went there. When she arrived in Beauclair, she signed on as a chambermaid at one of the vineyards, then slowly worked her way up to Major Domo, she dragged the rest of the family
A
up
man
the
who
same
dare
path.
not down some red is a man whose wife
Classic
like to
great
love
aunts,
his
man.
The days
Always
pass.
dragging the rest
The
of the
servants'
family.
quarters. I occupy the green home. With the Duchess's permission, I have hired a full staff. Their salaries to be paid from the ducal treasure.
Nice of her.
Not the most sightly part of the estate, I admit. But I think it's worthwhile for you as master of the domain to know where the help stays.
A man who dare not down some
Hopefully
red is
these
a man
batteries
whose wife
last.
like to thump his head.
Baron Rossel ordered the vines in this part of the estate uprooted and olive groves planted in their place. They look beautiful, especially come spring.
Don't look at all bad now, either.
We would stump till we were red and sweaty.
Can you speak English, kid?
Down below
That'd be great.
is your vineyard, where we grow a strain of Carfanere, one of the world's oldest. Aged in oak barrels, it provides for an exquisite wine with distinct blackberry, wild cherry, plum, and cinnamon notes. Marvelous.
Have to try it one of these days.
Bread adds a spring to your step. Wine adorns your head with hoar dandelion. And that minstrel and our Duchess once, you know, wink wink.
Nice well. Picturesque.
Yes, though it ran dry long ago. During the raucous feasts Master Boleus held, he would order it filled with wine. There's a tale about a guest attending a Boleus ball for the first time and thus unaware of the custom. He had suffered great heartbreak and had decided to end his life by jumping into the well. The festivities were coming to a close, and the well was nearly empty when the suicidal guest finally jumped. Instead of killing himself, he merely broke his legs. To numb the pain, he drank the wine.
Drank himself to death?
Not at all. When found the next day, he had concluded he'd witnessed twin miracles. The water had been changed into wine, and he had survived. He retired to a monastery in the Dragon Mountains and began preaching the wisdoms of Nebbiolo.
Look at that water, dude. Oh my god.
She's fit to wed. Oh, so fit.
Chill, kitty cat.
Monsieur Boleus' wife Nina kept a garden here. A supremely lovely place it was.
Bit neglected now.
I agree. Yet nothing stands in the way of restoring it to its former glory, and once again planting it with herbs and other vegetation.
It's herbs, not herbs. God, the H is silent.
Madame Nina planted diminutive, delicate flowers and herbs here. One might say their
He said
aroma
it again.
still hangs in the air.
You're quite the romantic, Barnabas Basil.
A man who dare not down some red is a man whose wife's like to thump his head.
Soon the coffee.
This served as an additional wine cellar in years of plentiful harvests.
Bit of work and it'll make a fine stable for Roach.
The days pass. The pile of work remains the same.
The cellars, voila. During Monsieur Boleus' time, wine was kept here, but Baron Rossel used it to store olive oil as well. I took the liberty of cleaning up the mess, which...
I made while fighting the Bruxa. Thanks, Barnabas Basil. Appreciate it.
We're almost at the beginning.
As you can see, the facade is, how to put it, slightly stained. But one cannot deny it, a certain subtle southern charm.
True, though it could use a bit of subtle paint.
Are we going inside?
And welcome inside.
It's a very quaint little house.
On the left is the master bedroom. On the right, the dining hall and kitchen. Upstairs, you shall find the guest room, currently used for storage.
Not a bad idea.
At the moment, the house is only minimally furnished. Yet I believe we will, together, devise some innovative arrangements. A few paintings, for instance, would breathe new life into the abode immediately. With that, sir, you've seen the full lay of the land. Corvo Bianco is a beautiful estate. Though one must admit, time has taken its toll. Forgive me for being forward, but if you were to choose to invest a small sum towards its beautification, consider me at your service on the matter.
Think I'll take you up on that. Be sure to come and see you if I decide to do any remodeling. Mentioned the place could stand to be spruced up.
Oh, most decidedly, sir. The question is where you would like to begin this rejuvenation.
Been thinking about the outer walls. Maybe a fresh coat of paint or some patching.
If I might dare to make a suggestion, why not start with a general renovation? I once oversaw such work at Admiral Rompelli's summer residence. The effects were simply breathtaking. Not only did the residence positively sparkle afterwards, but we also made room to display the Admiral's armor and weapons, of which he was a passionate collector.
Need to think it over some.
I understand, of course. As the venerable lady...
That's all for now, BB. Thanks.
A witcher. We could use one around here. Ooh.
Move it!
Oh, there. What will we walk
Witcher, I have a matter of prime urgency and import. I must speak to you.
Oh, I just had my mic muted. Don't know how long. I said, well, I need to stop doing that. Do that way too often.
Your wound. Feeling better?
It's healing splendidly, though I am to avoid trouble for some time. To be frank, that is precisely why I wish to speak with you.
Want me to stand in for you? Take on some trouble on your behalf?
That could very well be the case. You see, there is a maiden, nay, a lady. I suspect someone's cast an ill spell upon her. A curse, perhaps.
Let me guess. She suddenly grew cold, haughty, and distant, though the night before she was flirtatious and alluring.
Tut tut, Witcher. You jest, yet the matter is grave. Though true, the lady in question is dear to my heart. I shall not deny it. I fear she has fallen victim to ill magic, and knows no one she could turn to for help.
What makes you think she might be cursed?
You must keep all I say to yourself, I beg you. I would never dare to be so indiscreet normally, yet I'm troubled about her, for her. Vivian shuns the company of others. Though the fairest maid at court, she keeps men at a distance. I thus determined I would resort to trickery.
Trickery? That even befitting of a knight?
In war, yes. And what is love if not battle? As it were, one evening I crouched in hiding outside her seamstress's home. As Vivian emerged from it, I too emerged, ever so gently but convincingly collided with her, then promptly offered to escort her home. She consented. At first, all augured well. I proposed a more scenic route. She agreed. I made kindly forays into conversation, and she even began to respond as we neared the end of our route.
Then suddenly,
mid-speech, from her mouth there flew a most hideous shriek. I stopped stone cold in my tracks while she turned red, then promptly ran off. I did not give chase that time. I attempted to approach her on several ensuing occasions, to learn what had happened, for I feared she had become entangled in some trouble. I noted that often, come night, she ventures into the woods, where I've seen her walk about a glade near a pool. I've striven on occasion to follow her, but lost track each time. It seemed then she'd melted into the air.
sound you heard. She might have just had a sore throat.
Had I thought it possible the sound was natural, I never would have taken up your precious time.
Notice any other strange behavior? Additional symptoms?
No, Vivian's avoided me wholly since the first encounter. But folk gossip.
What about?
They say she's secretive, that no one ever sees her after dusk, that she's wont to suddenly disappear.
Nothing unusual about any of that. Tell me more about Vivian. Who is she? What's her story?
She's Her Enlightened Highness's lady-in-waiting. Her mother was a lady-in-waiting, her father a knight. That is all I've learnt, for the Duchessa grows angry when asked about her. Vivian spends her days within the palace walls. Yet we are in luck, for she has been named the tourney's patroness this year. Thus, each participant will be granted an audience with her.
Got a problem then. See, I'm not a participant.
I've devised a solution already. You shall take my place in the lists and thus gain the chance to speak to her. I was looking forward to winning the tourney, very much so. Yet for Vivian, I am prepared to sacrifice anything.
Fine, I'll look into it. Gotta admit, piqued my curiosity.
I shall be forever in your debt. Now, we must ensure you are not eliminated from the tourney before you can meet Vivian.
Meaning?
Could you show me how you shoot, ride and fight, perchance? And you must learn the tourney rules, know how to apply them in practice. I did not mean to suggest I doubt your abilities. Everyone must train, even a witcher. Besides, the tourney contests must surely differ, require skills you don't usually apply, races above all. The choice is yours. Where shall we start?
apply all the skills you mentioned on a daily basis, and against monsters, not targets and dummies. Don't need any training. Going straight to the tourney grounds to sign up.
Now you must go to the inscription tent. Honor and glory are all true and good, but your...
I've been holding